Welcome to another audio podcast from Gateways for Seniors. Our topic today is how do I find a reputable caregiver for my aging parent or loved one? And our guest is Peter Smith, account manager at Gateways for Seniors in Nashua, New Hampshire. Peter, I'm going to hit you with the big question right up front. How do I find a reputable caregiver for my aging parent or loved one?
Well, first off, Tim, thanks for having me. And that's a very important question and one of the most common questions we are asked here. And I would say first imagine that you're an aging mother or father and decide that you want to age in place, living at home for as long as possible. At some point, you're going to become a caregiver. If you work, taking on this responsibility of caregiving can be pretty daunting.
Oh, absolutely.
And many reputable agencies and businesses provide high quality in-home service. Unfortunately, there's some dishonest operators that can take advantage of you.
Well, and that's a problem. We do know there are a lot of them out there. You see advertising all the time.
Oh, yes.
And if I was trying to really find a reputable personal care service provider, what question should I ask or what should I look for?
And this growing population that we have, we're seeing a lot of franchises and a lot of agencies popping up that we've never heard of. So it's really important to find out what laws your state has that protect seniors. The state of New Hampshire, for example, requires that you obtain an 822 or an 809 license to provide in-home care.
Okay, so those are two numbers worth remembering, 822 and 809 license.
Yeah, agencies with this specific license follows all the rules that protect a client by providing a criminal background check, health checks, physicals, TB testings, and they provide training to all personal care service providers. And to verify if your agency that you're interested in is licensed, you can go to the state's Department of Health and Human Services website or simply ask a representative.
Sure, and I would think in addition to that licensing, I'd want to know at least what kind of screenings they used and how they actually selected people, and then what type of training they actually get into, right?
Absolutely recommend that someone interested in this ask the agency what screenings they use and what training they provide to their workers.
Because I imagine it can vary widely.
Absolutely.
Okay. One of the questions we get asked as well is just about how this whole thing is going to work. I mean, does the family pay the worker? Does the agency pay the worker? What's involved in the whole process?
Well, the state of New Hampshire requires that all workers have workers' compensation insurance, and this is important to note. By hiring a personal care service worker through a licensed agency like Gateways for Seniors, you are assuring that the employee is protected and that all Department of Labor laws are being followed. You can ask the agency if they are bonded and what kind of liability insurance that provides. And when you hire a PCSP through an agency, you pay the agency and the agency pays the worker.
So that takes, once again, a lot of the headaches away from the family member of dealing with the administrative issues, right?
Absolutely, and it gives you a peace of mind to ensure that someone is well-versed that's going there and bonded.
You know, one of the questions I would have if I was looking right now would be what type of training is provided? Because you've mentioned the topic of training a couple of times.
Yes.
And again, I suspect it could vary pretty widely. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what's required and what to look for.
Well, the law requires a minimum of 8 hours training and personal performance of duties. And this includes training in body mechanics, client rights and responsibilities, infection control, and other task-oriented trainings. Here at Gateways for Seniors, even our account managers are trained and certified. We're trained in quality of life outcomes for individuals with Alzheimer's and dementia, and we're able to do in-home assessments specific to those needs. And we're then able to train our workers on the specific needs of dementia and Alzheimer's patients.
So you want to make sure that the type of training that is offered by any agency is applicable to the particular issues of your parent or loved one.
Absolutely, and here at Gateways, we're always looking for new trainings that we can attend to make sure that we're ahead of the curve and able to offer services to the clients.
You know, one question I've heard is that a caregiver will say, well, you know, this is great, but I'm gone during the day. How do I know that the person is doing their job? Who's going to supervise them and make sure that the real quality is there, especially if my parent or loved one can't necessarily tell me?
Well, that's a great question, and that needs to be asked as there are different models when you're interviewing each agency. Gateways for Seniors has an added benefit. They arrange the interview for you, You get to meet with a worker, and you decide if you want to hire them. The family decides, or mom and dad would decide. This way, we know it will be a perfect match. The same worker shows up each day to care for your loved one. We've had some of the same workers stay with clients for over 5 years, and because of this, they've formed a special bond and they've worked out fantastic. The workers also supervised by account managers within Gateways, and they check in with us daily.
So it's your responsibility in your job to make sure that the quality of care is exactly what it should be.
Absolutely, and our workers take great pride in this as well.
Well, what would happen if one morning the caregiver, or the worker rather, didn't show up?
Well, each agency is different. Our workers are trained to call us as soon as possible. Life happens, we understand that, and we have workers on call. Each client would designate an on-call representative, or we have workers on staff. But our workers are trained to call us, and the account manager then would call the client to see if they need help or arrange it later in the day or the week.
So you'll do your best to make sure that the needs of that family are
Absolutely.
well covered. Okay. How much service can I get, or how little?
Well, each agency differs. However, here at Gateways, we offer a 2-hour minimum, and there's no maximum of hours that are required.
What about weekends? Are there extra fees for that?
Our fees are flat. Some agencies will have a sliding scale. Here at Gateways, we want to provide a low-cost, good service to our clients. So therefore, on weekends and holidays, the rate's the same.
Well, Peter, that's fantastic. We're coming to the end of our program, but I think there are some important messages. Certainly the message of making sure that whoever you select is appropriately licensed, but more than that, to make sure that not only are people well trained in the area of care that you need, but also that the administrative and support services are there to make it a seamless experience for the family and to assure there's a good continuity of care.